Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
I saw this headline and I actually thought this was pretty interesting because some people might see this and at first think the UFC's holding the L, but I thought I'd looked at this and this is actually a big W for the fans of MMA and the UFC. Think about this. I mean, the last 3 UFC pay-per-view cards have all lost their champion headliners. First, they just lost their headliners, but when you actually look at it, all the guys that had the belt are the guys that were forced out due to injury. Now, actually, I do have one of these, but you guys know I don't like to pull this thing out very often. My tinfoil hat, and I'm going to keep it that way because it's not very fun and it's kind of scary. But either way, if you wanted to put your tinfoil hat on, you would look at that and say, wow, that's crazy. You know, it's the champion Robert Whittaker, the champion Max Holloway, the champion Tony Ferguson. They're all the guys pulling out of the fights. And then you like factor in Max Holloway kind of predicted he was going to be stepping in to fight versus Ferguson or Khabib. You know what I'm saying? There's just a lot of predicting going on. Mystic Max and all the champions are falling out. So, I mean, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat away now, and we're just going to talk about the facts, which is it's what this does still show is it's a good time to be a fan of the UFC, and it shows, you know, kind of a win over boxing. And I don't know enough about boxing to really elaborate on boxing, but you hear about Canelo versus Triple G canceled, you hear about stuff like that. You don't hear, oh yeah, Canelo versus Triple, you know, Canelo's out, but don't worry, this guy's stepping in. UFC, Whittaker's out, don't worry, Yoel's coming in. Holloway's out, don't worry, Ortega, Cyborg, and Kuninskai's coming in. Oh, Ferguson's out, don't worry, Holloway's coming in. You know what I'm saying? Right in, right, plugging them right in. So even though you're losing the originally intended fight, we're still getting a good ass, you know, night of fights. Not to mention, let's look at just UFC 222 because it was the most recent one. Not to mention, yeah, we lost Holloway, but we got Ortega, we got Cyborg, we got Kuninskaya. Not to mention the undercards where you see like the fucking Sean O'Malley's and stuff of the world. See, this is the difference between boxing and MMA. In boxing on the undercard, you're going to see a lot of boxing. You know, yeah, you might see a cool knockout, but other than that, you're going to see a lot of shit that's going to put the casual fan to sleep. On MMA undercards, you might see a submission, you might see a Sean O'Malley type fight where it's a war, people are doing all type of crazy stuff. The third round, somebody's injured. You might see a last second knockout on the undercard. You might see a submission. You might see a grappling match. There's just such a different variety of everything you can see in one night of mixed martial arts. It really doesn't even matter if you lose one fighter on the card. Now, if Conor McGregor was on one of these cards and he fell out, yeah, you're going to take a big hit. But a lot of these guys aren't those big name stars like Conor McGregor. If Conor McGregor was on the card, yeah, you're going to sell over $1 million. And if he falls out, you're probably going to fall to under $1 million. It's a fucking fact. But that maybe there goes to show to why, you know, there's a benefit in all of these guys not being that big of stars, because that's what looks like it's happened in boxing. Canelo and Triple G are both big stars. You lose one of those guys, you lose a big chunk of that card. Here, Whittaker, Holloway, Ferguson, us MMA fans, we all love them. Everyone respects them. They're fucking warriors and legends. They're champions you should want to be. But they're not huge stars, so whenever they fell out of their fights, we still had a great night of fights. So that's all I wanted to point out. It was interesting that the last 3 UFC events in a row have all lost their fucking headliners. Watch out, Amanda Nunes. If this is some Final Destination shit, Amanda Nunes better be careful. Caitlin Vieira, you better be ready to step up for an interim title fight, because if this continues, it looks like Amanda Nunes will be next on the fucking UFC Final Destination list of champions falling out of events. Now, with that being said, we've lost some fights, we've gained some fights. We got Cyborg Kuninskaya, we got Ortega Edgar. I mean, new fights are being announced every day. So with that being said, it is what it is. The last 3 UFC pay-per-view cards have all lost their headliners. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. I'm out. And as always, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell right next to it so you're notified every time I upload a video. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOG.